So civil society group Defend Our Democracy will stage a picket outside the State Capture Commission of Inquiry today as President Cyril Ramaphosa's testimony enters day 2. That picket follows an open letter to the president in which the signatories have implored the head of state to act against corruption in all spheres of government. Now, co-convenor of the Defend Our Democracy campaign, Reverend Moss Nhla, joins us now via our video link to elaborate on the group's demands. Rev, great to see you. Thanks very much indeed for making time for us here on the AM Report. I wonder if I can get your take first on what the president had to say yesterday. In some respect, he conceded that there are serious failures in governance. Do you reckon that goes far enough in explaining how we got to this malaise that we're in?
Thank you, Ayanda. Thank you for your viewers as well. I think that every South African knows, obviously, that something went terribly wrong over the last decade with state capture. And it was a good thing for the president to acknowledge that. Obviously, we expect more by way of answering the questions why and what happened and how it could have been allowed to take place. Our sense is that there are all South Africans pretty much are carrying very serious questions about their democracy, and they are looking very much to this moment, which, by the way, is a very important moment, that the head of state could be at the Zondo Commission to help answer those questions that many South Africans have.
Right. This was also one of those few moments where the president spoke unequivocally about there being state capture to begin with. In fact, in the past, our former head of state had asked, what is state capture? How much should we make of that? The fact that Ramaphosa has been unequivocal with the fact that state capture did happen and that we should take stock of it.
I think it's a very important acknowledgement. It would be said if he didn't come to that conclusion. I think pretty much everyone is aware that something went terribly wrong and that people across the country have had the impact of that state capture, and the service deliveries that we've seen across the country have had something to do with the fact that ordinary people were shortchanged by this. And so it is important that the state president acknowledge that, and we really do think it's a good sign. It's a good sign of accountability. It's a good sign where the first citizen of the country subjects himself or herself to the judicial commission of inquiry. I think that is something that as South Africans we can be thankful for, that our constitutional order continues to hold, our judiciary continues to do its job, and I think it's a good day, if you like.
We'll speak about your picket today in just a moment. It comes on the back of an open letter you actually wrote as an organization to the president. Amongst what you said is the following: we think that it's critical that you, the president, acknowledge that state capture is not simply something of the past. Some of its tendrils may have been cut, but its systems and networks remain entrenched. Do you get the perception that that concession persists as the president takes to the stand, that he concedes that we are still dealing, if you like, with the remnants or the systems and networks of state capture?
That's correct, yes. I think the president did concede that, and he did say that the current administration is putting in place measures to remedy that, and we are obviously monitoring all of that. And we expect that it will not take a speech by the president to do this. It will take a lot of hard work because there are a lot of the agents of that capture that are still in place across many municipalities and many levels of government, as we saw even from the outbreak of violence and looting last month, that there is a good case to answer on the part of many people in the cabinet, as well as in the police services, security cluster, and all of this. And so, in that sense, we expect that it will be a hard slog ahead, but we value very much the transparency with which the state president approaches it, and we believe that it is up to all of us as South Africans to continue to hold those in power accountable and hold them to the highest standards of transparency so that we can really become part of the evolution of our democracy.
You speak about the evolution of our democracy. Many jaws dropping yesterday on the back of one of the concessions that the president made, essentially explaining to the State Capture Commission and, I guess, by extension to the country, that there are structures and channels through which the JSC's appointments can be influenced. To your mind, does that speak to the tenets of the kind of democracy that we had envisioned?
Not really. I think it is obviously our democracy is one that just starts off by acknowledging that all are equal before the law, and that South Africa is a country where everybody must feel at home. And so it would be a very sad day if there was a sense in which any South Africans of merit would be excluded from serving this nation simply on the basis that there's a deployment that takes place that would, in many instances, put party above the interest of the entire society. And so I think that admission is an important one. It is something that we would be looking to see how this will be remedied. And we look forward to what the president says today, and obviously what the Zondo Commission will come up with as regards recommendations of how this will be remedied.
Do you reckon that that concession is scandalous enough to lead to the compromise of the integrity of the judiciary?
Well, it would be to preempt it. I think that the Zondo Commission, I take the referring to the Zondo Commission. Ayanda, are you referring to the Zondo Commission or the Judicial Services Commission?
Well, I mean, the revelations came out of the Zondo Commission, and they have led to, I guess, perceptions that the process within the Judicial Service Commission is largely politicized and may lead to a politicized judiciary.
Yeah, that would be worrying. I think that indeed it would be an important thing to see what form of recommendations come up as a result of such admissions as those. Quite clearly, the objective of the Commission is to not only analyze what happened, but also to recommend how what happened may be prevented from happening for all time in the future. And that, I think, is an important learning point in our democracy, and we have to be patient to see what comes out of those recommendations.
Sure. With all those issues we ventilated in mind, what would you say then is at the center of the message you're hoping to give out today during today's picket?
Sorry, I missed that. Are you referring to the picket?
Sure. With all of those issues that we've just discussed in mind, what would you say is at the center of the message you're hoping to give out today as you take part in this picket outside the State Capture Commission of Inquiry's offices?
I think a couple of points, Ayanda. The first one is that it is an important accountability moment for us as a country where we see, a couple of weeks ago there was an outbreak of violence in the country where the former head of state simply wasn't keen on submitting himself to measures of accountability, and this moment we do see exact opposite. So it's an important moment. It's an important accomplishment, not only in our public institutions, but also in the demand by civil society and others, all South Africans, that this must happen. Our hope is that South Africans will see this moment as an important moment that speaks to the need to continue to be vigilant, going forward, to continue to hold public officials accountable in municipalities and everywhere, because what we are seeing in the last 2 days is really how deep and how far-reaching state capture was, and how it is that to end it will take all of us.
Reverend Moss Nhla, thanks very much indeed for your time. Really do appreciate it here on the AM Report. Reverend Moss is a co-convenor of the Defend Our Democracy movement. Once again, appreciate your time.